Yeah, I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. It's a little Kenny Russell, Canoe, Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in the room. You're now dealing with Canoe. I'm here. While I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear. Now, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. This week, I said I was gonna call it Cult Week. I'm gonna go through different cults and show how cults and cult life is all based upon religious principles and how people manipulated different uh, type of manipulative or manipulation tactics to rule the people that's under them. Now, the people that was under them could be said to have better IQs. They, in a singular manner, the individual person could have had more money, could have had more happiness, could have had more life structure. But once grouped up and belittled and demeaned and things are stricken from you, you understand that this leader that you have professed as your leader is the smartest, the richest, happiest, and you can't do any of that without his instruction or his direction. So cults are they're very dangerous. They're very demeaning. Um, a lot of cults, it goes hand in hand with sex. So the next cult that I want to talk about, yesterday we spoke about Nature Boy, Elijah Bishop. He got 120 years. I don't even think his cult affected 100 people in total. The gentleman today is Keith Raniere. He had 700 at his height, but he was going from, I want to say, roughly around 2000. He put his patent in 2002, and he went all the way to 2020, basically 2018 to 2020, somewhere up in there. And he had royalty, rich actress. He had everybody, and it was just a woman's cult. Okay, so we're going to react to that. And again, I'm not trying to take anything from you, your God, your Muhammad, your Jesus the Christ, Allah, any of this stuff. You can have that. But if you understand what I'm saying, you would solely consider all of those things I just named as foolish. Because when you're given religion, it's things you have to stay boxed in. You have to stay up under their doctrine, which is a said or given book that has all their rules and customs and ceremonies and guidelines and bylines to follow. You have to take, again, ceremonies, customs, beliefs, all this stuff is packaged in there and you stuck with that group. Okay. So when you find out that spirituality has none of that, you can be, as they say, as free as a bird. Okay. And the only person in charge of your spirituality, the way you live on this life, and where you may go in the next life, if you have those type of beliefs, is you. You're the only one responsible for that. All the rest of that stuff that I named is not going to save you. So this is a fair use act. This is a teaching moment. So we're going to play the video.
Thought that I found a real deep sense of community. I felt like someone cared about me.
At first, NXIVM seemed to be a safe space where we were surrounded by really good people, because for so long, it felt, sorry.
There have been a number of dangerous cults in American history. The Waco Davidians, Jonestown, the Unification Church, Scientology, and Heaven's Gate. And we've seen some of those end catastrophically. But NXIVM will go down as one of the most destructive cults in history.
Do you understand how you could rape a baby? I can make it a baby that's very rapeable.
Keith Raniere is the most horrific, abusive cult leader that I've ever heard of in my 30-some years of doing this work. The predatory nature, the cruelty, it's beyond the pale.
He was.
That's the video. And it's so much more than just that one clip. But that clip, to me, this is my first initial thoughts on that video and the clip and the whole everything, the sex cult and all, which they later found it was a sex cult, is insanity and religion develops insanity. Okay, that's insane. Now the women individually, if you go and just do a brief research on this cult called NXIVM, you'll find that the women by themselves, by all means, are successful, strong, defying all the rules of different stereotypes. A lot of people at one time didn't think actresses meant anything. He had actresses, he had royalty, European royalty. He had billionaires' daughters from Seagram's Gin, the liquor company. He had two of their daughters head over heels, out of their mind about him. And then they began to do things of a funny nature. It was right from the beginning. They had programming like Scientologists. That all stems from Leroy Hubbard, I believe that's his name. No, L. Ron Hubbard. I'm sorry, L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard was a student of a gentleman that followed Madame Blavatsky and Aleister Crowley. It was another dude named Parsons. I forgot his first name, but he invented jet fuel. And they were all students of this theosophy or this black sex occultic type of magic. And this gentleman knew about all of them. So one thing I understand about predators is the predator, he stays, he's a predator, but he has predatorial habits. He stays in what his habitat is. This man was always able to manipulate people straight from the beginning, and he did it in the means of one's funds to begin with, because he had a pyramid scheme that he had to shut down, pay a fine of $40,000, and vow to never open it again. And he got that whole playbook from a man named Tim Robbins. Then he met a lady named Lisa Salzman, something like that, and they conspired to, take over the world, so to speak. And when she would give these like commercial type of things, she said this is the first women's empowerment group created by a man. And if you look at the name NXIVM, the way he spelled it, you know this gentleman, he had some intelligence. That's Greek and Roman lettering. He said it meant the next millennium. I know that it's somewhere up in there like Novum, the first New Testament. It was called the Novum Instrumental, brought to you by Desiderius Erasmus in 1516. You can look it up. And then it has some striking resemblance to me also to the Septuagint, which is a book of 72 or 62. I guess that's where they got the name from. And that was a Greek Bible. They saying it was the Hebraic turned into Greek, and they have a story that they all came to Alexandria and all this, just carrying on. But this man had some type of knowledge. It is said he had a propped up background in history. He's the smartest man on earth, all this silliness. He was a master at judo because at 11 years old, he won a judo championship. I mean, they had all kind of ways of making this predator seem palatable to you, and you don't know that it's a hoax until it's all said and done. He began branding women. He didn't do it personally, but they began branding women with this insignia or this type of logo. And when you turn it around, it had Allison Mack, which was a little actress, a little girl from Smallville, and Keith Raniere's initials put together. Okay. So again, if you do some brief research, you will see that. But what made this man stand out in the minds of people is that he manipulated women. A 5-day course was $5,000. Okay. Then he had a retreat for his birthday. I believe it was roughly $12,000 to go or some it was astronomical figures. And I looked and when did research on this guy, and he was talking about how the old what is it? It's an old saying. It's African. Trust me, it's African. It takes a village to raise a child. He was saying something like that in one of his seminars. And he was saying that if you took a Roman civilization and let people know about that, you took Indian civilization and you took Chinese civilization, and you taught that all to people, and he was using the term cultures, and they wouldn't feel bastardized when a person out of their culture, and they wouldn't feel abandoned. He said, teach a kid this and they'll know about all cultures. Then I began to think, he totally acknowledged, he didn't even bring up African culture. And if you go a little further, you don't see not one African face in the coat, mixed up in the coat. That takes me back to a predator that only preys on his habitat. See, he knew about European cultures and different cultures, but he didn't touch the African. And then it became more racist to me because in his mind, he probably didn't think the average African young girl can afford the cost of these classes and things like that. So they didn't hunt that down. The little girl, Allison Mack from Smallville, she became one of his biggest recruiters. Then he had another lady. She was a Canadian actress. She became one of his biggest recruiters. So he disregarded African culture because he didn't think highly of it, but he didn't want African women. He wanted European women because a predator, predatorily, he stays in his habitat. That's what he does. So he exploits the people in his habitat, and that was of a European descent. There's so much more to say about this dude, Keith Raniere, this silly ass, foolish little dwarf of a man who sometimes gives me Michael J. Fox type of vibes on some of the videos. You can go look. He wanted to have some type of urban or Hollywood type of stereotype behind himself or appeal. So he looked like Michael J. Fox mixed with a short ass little Yoda playing volleyball, kissing everybody on the lip. This was a wimp of a man, and he only was strong after he stripped these strong women, because the women were stronger than him singularly. But all together, they were weak, because when he stripped them down, took all the paint off of them, he was left with nothing but blank canvases. And he began to paint on them with his own paintbrush, set of rules, set of ideologies. And one last quick story. He had a thing called collateralization. When he wanted to demean you to the fullest, put that stamp on you, his logo, his insignia. He took the young ladies and said, now it's collateralization time. Take butt naked pictures of them. Make them curse out 4 of their family members on video, talking real bad to them, just making shit up. Make them write letters, handwritten letters that, you know, for collateral, if you say something about what was done here today, I'll send all this shit out on you and you in trouble. Then, you know, after that, he will go on and have sex with them, manipulate them, and bastardize them to the smallest form. He already had all butt naked pictures of them. And when they caught this gentleman, the lady, I think her name was Lisa Salzman, something like that. She had $500,000 in cash when she was arrested. When this silly ass man was arrested, he had $9 million in one personal bank account in Mexico. And before they was going to capture him, this is what was said. They was getting ready to do a purity rite, give themselves to him, and they was going to all give him a oral blowjob or have oral sex with them as a group. So stay away from coats. It's very dangerous. You will lose your whole life behind this, following a man. That's my thoughts on the video. It's a little Kenny Russell, Canoon, Consul Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in the room. You're now dealing with Canoon. Yeah, I'm here. And while I'm here, I'm going to make the information direct and clear, because a lot of y'all can't hear. This is what I do, and I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I ask them all to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching.